Noodle shares a YouTube video that the Twitch streamer xQc uploaded of him reacting to Israeli airstrikes and captions it by saying, "When I think about what scumfuck degenerate content parasites look like, I don't think I could possibly create parody more on the nose than this." He then says, yes, it's real, which I went to confirm myself. This was a real upload from the xQc Clips channel. Ryotaku responds by saying, "Every time I hear something about xQc, it's always some drama shit. I've legit never heard anything positive." Noodle responds, "Wonder why?" Space Core says, "If I said what I think should be said about this guy, I'd probably get banned from Twitter." Noodle responds, "You are so real for this." Saturn Freak Plus says, "At least he's raising awareness to his massive fan base about what we're going through. As a Palestinian, as long as he's showing the horrors of living in Gaza, I don't care how he does it." Noodle responds, "I just worry that this means more harm than good, because him treating this like just another thing to react to trivializes the real horror of what's happening, desensitizing his audience and leading to apathy." X responds by saying, "Always love it when these streamers who shit money and piss liquid gold take advantage of those less fortunate as content minds. Really makes me feel all warm and tingly inside." Juiceru7 responds by saying, "I mean, he isn't alone, is he?" Showing that Hassan Piker also uploaded a reaction to Gaza getting bombed on his channel. So, after all of this backlash, what do you think is the best way for xQc to respond? How do you think he responded? Well, if you guessed posting a selfie of himself in front of a bunch of money and saying, "Huh?" then you would be correct, as that's exactly what happened. Noodle quote tweets this and says, "Hadn't considered this." Left Take responds to him by saying, "How embarrassing for you. People used to have shame." Synthetic Nora responds to him with an image of the DS game Brain Age, with the doctor saying, "Oh dear, your brain age is a little underwhelming." Saberspark responds with a SpongeBob fish knocking sand into the sponge's face. Wonderstruck responds with this GIF captioned, "Cool." Wonderstruck also responds to this tweet with this Twitter video of xQc attempting to exercise.
Don't forget to breathe. 20, 20, 20. Ten seconds left. 25, 26. 28 times up. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so let's see how good is 28.
SDL responds by saying, "You literally proved their point, laughing my fucking ass off. How stupid are you?" The Sigma female says, "Proved their point speedrun edition." Raptured One says, "All the money in the world can't buy a wife that loves you, or a decent fucking haircut apparently." Rebecca Stone shares a picture of this hairy dog and says, "Why does your haircut look like this dog?" And I'm not gonna lie, I might be a little high right now, but I did legitimately think, like looking at this in the corner of my eye, that it was the top of xQc's head. So great comparison there. McNasty responds to xQc by saying, "Now your 12-year-old audience makes sense." Omni says, "Bro literally letting money get to his head." Crystal responds to xQc by saying, "Imagine having so much money, can't even take care of themselves. Drive, have a meaningful relationship, friends, but you have a cool watch. Keep it up." Lyle Rass says, "Imagine having this much money, and the best content you can make is still dog shit." Mango says, "You can fill your home with expensive things, but you are still empty as a person." Matt says, "Hey man, you're kind of a piece of shit," laughing my ass off. Quite responds to xQc by saying, "Your soul remains empty." xQc then retaliates with a picture of his watch in the caption, "Your bank account relates." Soft Willy responds to xQc by saying, "Name a harder fall than this, jeez." Do Enjoyer says, "Why rich people always flex the ugliest looking shit ever." SDL says, "Please change and grow as a person." Commander Carl reacts to xQc's response to Quite by saying, "See, when people attack xQc for legitimate reasons, he goes into vindictive teenager mode and just flexes how wealthy he is. Does anyone not see the problem with this guy?" Gay Agenda responds to Carl by saying, "That's gotta be one of the ugliest watches I have ever seen." Carl responds, "Not as ugly as his personality." Christastic responds by saying, "That watch is actually ugly as hell. Bro, I'd be embarrassed if I ever wore anything like that out in public." But I guess he doesn't have to worry about that part. Quite responds by saying, "Keep gambling." And then xQc responds by saying, Anything else? Showing a picture of himself with a bunch of gambling chips. Spitfuls responds by saying, flexing a gambling addiction is crazy. Quite says, glad to see the divorce lawyers are well paid. Neen Man responds by saying, absolute cinema. Nate responds by saying, xQc are really trolling Twitter right now, and they falling for it. Elier Gab responds by saying, making yourself look bad isn't trolling, it's just making yourself look bad. Chef Frank says, he didn't respond to this one, lol. Impinate Easy says, absolutely love that he didn't respond to this one. Unrelated Name responds by saying, shit got too real, laughing my ass off. Elijah says, he doesn't feel like yapping now all of a sudden, laughing my ass off. Cabhal says, folks, we call that a hat trick. So while xQc didn't respond to Quite directly, he actually did respond to this entire situation on stream, which was clipped by Drama Alert and posted on their Twitter with the caption, xQc is upset at people criticizing his reaction to Gaza.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, okay? The topic at hand, the war, the politics or whatever, okay?
Bro, just ignore.
I ignored all of it. This is not about this. This is about that. This is what people are missing the point. It is not about this. It is about that. And to this, I respond with that. That behavior, the response we get is this. Okay? That's it. Although don't worry, I don't need to show replies, I'll show you in a minute. Okay. I say I'm cringe, but that's the whole point then. That's the... Bro, I just said it. It's the...
Brody Fox shows the 37-minute YouTube video version of this defense uploaded by xQc and captions it by saying, xQc spends 40 minutes defending himself and reading responses, but avoids showing Quite's ratios. Maxibon responds by saying, well, he did show it and even laughed at them. This is the root of the problem. Leeching creators want to farm some clout with zero context. Have a good day. Brody responds by saying, that's nowhere in his YouTube upload. Alec responds by saying, thinking ratios on Twitter mean anything is cringe as fuck. To which Brody Fox screenshots a tweet they made in July where they say, I take pride in my ratio, and posts that in response to him to ratio them. And then he shows that he got blocked. Going back to some more responses to Noodle's initial tweet, Pause Fish quote tweets him and says, probably unironically way better than Hassan's coverage of any of this. Mink says, yo, I ain't defending him, but the amount of streamers that react to Channel 5, including me, and don't get pressed like they do when X does, it's an image out of context. His response was absolutely trash, but images out of context on a channel that re-uploads parts of his VOD is whack, which I don't know why she's saying that because it seems like this channel is run by xQc or at least endorsed by him in some capacity, considering it's linked on his main channel as one of his multiple affiliated channels and it has like consistent branding across them and everything like that. I'm pretty sure xQc Clips is associated with xQc directly in some way, at least for this to be the case. So in my opinion, your opinion's invalid, but don't worry, more people than just minks were defending xQc here, as xQc Reviews on Twitter chimes in and says, people bought so hard into xQc being a react thief that motherfuckers can't fathom when he watches a video to actually learn about what's going on with chat. Anyways, back to opinions from accounts that aren't called xQc. Commander Carl reacts to all of this by saying, if you need further proof that xQc is a shitty person, look no further. It's truly astonishing that xQc and Sniper Wolf were able to amass such a large following and make boatloads of money just by being dogshit people. Brody Fox shows all of this and says, what a fucking doofus. Christastic responds by saying, roast this mama, Brody. Brody Fox then follows up with a picture of xQc and his mom and says, xQc's mom is so ginger, she's the reason he was born without a soul. Do enjoy your response to xQc's money flex reply by saying, you know, I was a little hesitant making such harsh tweets against xQc, but I genuinely believe that Keemstar Discord screenshot more than ever now. Gainopriaz then responds with this video in the caption, you're missing context.
70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Do Enjoyer then responds by saying, laughing my ass off. Man Titty's response with the Discord screenshot that was referred to in the initial tweet of Keemstar saying, here's the deal, I want this guy killed. Clean shot. and captions it by saying, I use this like every day. Elvis the Alien responds to xQc by saying, I love how xQc's only comeback to criticism is, but look, money! Dark Viper AU says, xQc is the, well, I never cared if you all liked me anyway, phase of dealing with losing social status. Silent Man Joe says, xQc fans spreading awareness argument when this post drops. Dubus Goobus says, I cannot comprehend how someone can have a detailed animated video with 11 million views about how bad their ego is, watch it, know it is universally praised, and then go back to doing that exact behavior under a post mad at you for exploiting war crimes. He's not sentient. Showing a screenshot of the Meat Canyon cartoon, making fun of xQc, which is a beautiful video by the way, you should definitely watch it if you haven't. Anyways, Dubus Goobus continues by saying, he has so much money, he doesn't need to care. I get that, but the fact everyone in the replies thinks this is the cringiest shit ever makes his inability to feel embarrassment really mind-boggling. I would shrivel up like a raisin if I posted something like this. CircleTunes HD responds by saying, there must be a level of wealth you can reach where a man in a black cloak approaches you and injects you with a moron liquid that forever rots your brain. Saberspark responds to CircleTunes by saying, it's just that old adage of absolute power corrupts absolutely. On the surface, he thinks he has it all. Money, status, fame, but it's a house of cards that will collapse someday because he isn't interesting enough to remain relevant. Some new fool will take his spotlight and he'll fade away. He isn't smart or resourceful enough to pivot and he'll blame everyone else for his downfall. He's a means to an ends for denizens of the web who get a kick of his bullshit, but it's only a matter of time till it implodes and they abandon him. McNasty responds to xQc by saying, what I hate the most about this dude is that he makes all creators look bad to the general public. This dude is so popular that he gets seen by people who aren't really into the streamer/YouTuber sphere, and then those people just assume we're all pieces of shit like him. Zero responds to xQc with this clip.
Do I get to say it? Please tell me that I can say it.
Kill. Emperor of Evil responds with a clip of xQc reacting to Dora the Explorer and the caption, same guy by the way.
That's Sparky's favorite snack.
Sparky's favorite snack is red.
It grows from trees.
Apple.
And it's yummy.
Apple.
What's Sparky's favorite snack?
Apple.
Apples, yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Rock Solid responds to xQc by saying, 27-year-old man flexing his wealth when met with criticism. I miss the old xQc even as a troll. This makes you look like a complete spur, showing the responses that he gave to Quite. Hunter reacts to xQc by saying, flexing that you're profiting off genocide is fucking insane. Salty DK Dan says, you will not be able to guess what this flex is in response to. What a fucking sicko. But knowing how much money the dude makes, it's not surprising in the slightest that he gives zero shits about humanity. Dak Dread responds by saying, there's gotta be some karmatic justice coming to him. It's gotta happen to someone just evil like this. Salty DK Dan responds, if karma exists, rich people would not, lol. Bommel Tommel responds by saying, he is one of, if not the worst influencers ever. Salty DK Dan responds, oh trust me, there's always a bigger fish. The only reason we know he's this bad is because he's public about it. One of the only good things about him, I guess. Kotaku writes and tweets out an article about this controversy and misquotes Noodle by using the word scumbag instead of the original word Noodle used, scumfuck. Povial Junk responds to them by saying, I prefer the other headline, with the new title, Internet drags scumfuck xQc for Gaza reaction video. Noodle responds by saying, great article, and then quote tweeting them and saying, that's not the word I used. Chris Reagan responds, that's the word I would use. Spooky Midza responds, they use the correct word when you click on the article. Probably a correction or something. Noodle responds, nah, I'm just kidding. They probably just wanted the tweet not to be suppressed due to foul language. Dextero also covers the situation, which leads to some more replies to it, like KG saying that xQc literally adds nothing of value to anything he reacts to. Just mumbling, stuttering, forever a mystery. Thordy Kid says, I won't blame him though. He really about that bag for real. Not YouTube Kid says, xQc is like a poorly written caricature of a YouTuber you would see in a late night sketch show in 2015. Mudahar says, not to sound like a defense, but having this reaction is insane. A decade ago this would be vilified in the content space, but now it seems silly to single xQc out of talking about this situation when so many others are using this situation for content. That said, flexing like that is just so trashy. What happened to this guy honestly? Dextero Knox tweets about the situation when they they say. After receiving criticism for posting reactions to bombings in Gaza and responding with a suitcase of money, xQc has uploaded a video titled, "I Made Twitter Mad." The streamer claims he was giving exposure to the conflict in Palestine. Real Emma Stone responds by saying, "I had no idea what was going on in Palestine before xQc mocked the dead." Zero says, "Yeah, xQc gotta get JFK'd." Peepoo responds by saying, "I agree with this on principle, but what'd he do this time?" Zero responds, "He trying to get views off of the Gaza genocide." 24 Frames of Nick says, "xQc is a scum fucking piece of shit who thinks all those fucking diamonds gonna fix his loneliness, while he continues to dive deeper and deeper into being so inhumane to everyone else around him that they aren't sucking his cock to keep tasting his wealth. I used to watch every single fucking stream from this guy for years, only to see someone lose grip on their own personality and replace it with anything toxic they can get their scrawny fucking fingers on." And that's about it for the tweets about xQc. Very interesting to see this last tweet from an ex-xQc fan. And I'm wondering if any of you guys in the comments have a similar experience where you used to like watching xQc a lot, but then he like slowly devolved and fell from grace. I didn't really know of xQc when he was not shitty, so I'm genuinely interested to hear that perspective as I don't hear it that often. But if you have any other opinions, I would love to hear those in the comment section below as well. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe with notifications on to not miss any future dramas, and with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.